Welcome everybody back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. A very dejected team here. I'm Ray. We've got Steve, Cam, and Jam. Very dejected after 3-1 beating, I can call it, by Liverpool. We're going to discuss that. We'll try to control our language so we don't swear on the podcast or the YouTube video, but bear with us on that. Let me go through the teams first. We've got Lloris in goal, and somebody's going to have to explain the formation to me because I didn't understand it. Aurier, Rodon, Dyer, Davies, Doherty, Hojbjerg, Ndombele, Bergwijn, Son and Kane. So, Cam, over to you now for some really disastrous history that we have with Liverpool, and give us some match stats as well, please.
I mean, I have given stats before about Liverpool because the second time we're playing them today, but one thing we really need to be clear about, this is 3 seasons in a row where Liverpool have done the double over Tottenham. 6 games, 6 losses. And I think this is one of the biggest losses we've had by 3.
Is that a Premier League record or something? 3 doubles in a row?
Probably is.
Yeah.
Just to go through the stats, the possession was 50-50. What's really interesting is we had 3 shots in total, 2 on target. They had 14 with 7 on target. I think the corners, we had 1 corner in the whole game. It's unbelievable when you look at it. Lloris, in spite of his easily conceding 3 goals, also made 4 saves, whilst their keeper only had to make 1 save. And I think the save was a pretty pathetic attempt by Son, as everyone will look at, we'll talk about later. But in terms of the stats, possession was equal. But in relation to attacking prowess, I mean, Liverpool completely destroyed us.
Yeah. All right, mate, that's fine. Let's get straight into it. Steve, off you go. You're the expert here. Tell us what that formation was.
Well, I think it started off as a back 5. I think it was supposed to be a back 5 when we were defending, and then we were to move smoothly to a back 3 using the overlapping fullbacks, I'll call them, if we were going forward. But of course, we very rarely went forward, so that didn't really transpire. So we had 3 fullbacks in our back 5. It didn't work, but did anyone think it was going to work? You know, when you saw that formation?
No.
We haven't got Doherty, Aurier, Ben Davies. I think Ben Davies is probably the pick of the bunch there. I mean, in fact, they nearly went ahead within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we actually got what looked to be a very good goal, and we were very excited here. I think it was 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Unfortunately, a heel was offside at some stage in the build-up, but it was an embarrassing shambles.
Well, what type of psyche when you've got Liverpool? I mean, even Fabinho wasn't playing. They had, I don't know, Henderson playing at the back, and you still play an ultra defensive, thing. What do you think, Jam? What type of psyche does that type of thing? You should go for the jugular here.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree absolutely. It's what we've come to expect with Jose, though, right? You know, just he's always going to go defensive, especially if he thinks the opposition is stronger than us, which, you know, I'm sure he did. It was nice to see Ndombele and Hojbjerg start together in the middle and not go with the typical 2 defensive-minded central midfield players. But that defense was just shambolic. You know, it had errors all over the place, and Sanchez wasn't even in there. So we can't even blame him today, like you said.
Well, I think Steve still is going to blame him.
I still blame Sanchez.
Yeah, I blame Sanchez as well. But after that first goal got chalked off for a really, really close offside, you know, just talk us through the first bit of the game, Cam. You know, the first goal, you know, how it was all panning out. You know, why were we on the back foot?
Well, I mean, I think I just want to say a quick word about the formation, my view on the formation.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
I don't think, not just us 4, but I think if we took a sample of every single person who's watched our podcast and watched us on YouTube, and all the Spurs fans around the world would look at that team, and there's one thing that all of us would say collectively, and that is we're going to get beat. There was no confidence in that formation to say that you were going out to win the game, or that anyway you're going to put 3 very weak fullbacks in terms of defensive on, right? Leave Toby on the bench, who's probably your best defender by far. Okay, maybe he hasn't got the pace. Still your best defender by far on the bench, and you're going to put 5 bozos in the back line, and that basically was our first 5 minutes, wasn't it? Because if Mane had found his touch, he should have had 5 goals today, 5 maybe 6 goals.
He could have before they actually scored. Then
I mean, what this hit me to, what it said to me, and I'm sure it said to every single Spurs fan out there, was that Liverpool's front three cannot score. Trent Alexander-Arnold is totally out of form. So what kind of formation can we put out there to give them some confidence and let them come back to being a good team again? Because that's exactly what we did. Hey, Fabinho, you haven't scored for a while. How about a little tap-in? Mane, you haven't scored for a while. How about we give you about 9 chances so you do get your goal? Right? I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold hasn't scored all season. Has had 2 assists, I think, the whole season. Don't worry, we'll give you Lloris will put the ball in your path and let you please play it on a plate for you. That's what the formation said to me, and that's what I think that most Spurs fans probably do recognise. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't want to say anything because I disagree with everything you said. Jam, talk us through the first goal. I mean, what's going on between Dyer and Lloris, for God's sake? There, come on.
Man, I don't even know where to start. What is that? Where's the communication? You're supposed to have been playing together all season, and they can't talk to each other.
Well, whose fault is that? Is it Lloris's fault?
Both of their faults. It's both of their fault.
Who takes ownership? I mean, Lloris is facing the ball. He should just take it out. Lloris should take it out.
Lloris, take out everyone. Get the ball. Get it. The goalkeeper. He should be yelling at Dyer before the ball's even coming in.
Well, what do you think, Steve? Whose fault is it?
I think Jam's right. It is both of their fault. At the time, I thought, this is Dyer. Dyer should have put his boot in there and just cleared it, rather than hold his hands down as if to say, here we are, Lloris, it's your ball. And it's a complete mix-up. Again, it was in the 6-yard box. You expect a goalkeeper to be very dominant in their own 6-yard box. I think we've become so used to Lloris not being dominant in his 6-yard box that we blame Dyer.
Yeah.
Because Dyer should have said, I know that you're not going to get this, Lloris. I should just put this into Rose.
Take it out of his head. But having said that, Lloris made a good save from Mane before that, didn't he? Where he saved it when Mane got through. But he lets us down too many times. I mean, Lloris big time let us down. Cam, what do you think?
I think you're all both wrong on the first goal. I'm sorry. But if everyone who saw that ball come in, you got to see what Aurier was doing. He was standing there. There was a Mane on his shoulder, and he just looked at the ball, looked over it, looked around,
but the thing is,
still stood there.
That passage of play
right behind him, and you thought, wait,
hold on, Cam. That passage of play has passed now. We're on to the next passage of play. That still could have been avoided, that goal.
But Aurier should have been.
We should have been cleared ages ago, well before up the field. It's pathetic, really. I mean, it's really pathetic, really.
I mean, the most pathetic thing of it all is that up until then we got away with. It was like last minute of the first half, right? We'd got away with some horrendous mistakes. Dyer passing the ball out. I think Davis passed out. Doherty was actually passing some beautiful balls, but on the wrong end of the pitch to the wrong player, to pay us in red.
Not sure about that.
We got away with it, though. 45 minutes. Yes, they added a bit of extra time on. And what do we do? Typical Tottenham,
isn't it? Is that the easiest goal Roberto Firmino's ever going to score in his life? Is that the easiest goal? I think it is.
Yeah, not far off it.
Yeah. Okay, so, we go in 1-0 at half-time, Obviously, Jose accepts that he made a mistake, Cam, because he changes it in the next one. He brings in Sissoko, and brings in Winks and Lamela. God knows what's happened to Lamela. I think Lamela's got some dirt on him, because Lamela's always coming on. But what happened? Tell me how the formation changed in the second half, Cam.
I have to say to you the same thing about the formation. There isn't a Spurs fan on this planet. There are few million of us out there that are Spurs fans on this planet that can ever explain to you how, when we're down at halftime, we've just lost Harry Kane, right? We've just let a goal in. They're looking to overrun us. That you put Winks and Lamela on. I mean, you put Winks and Lamela on when we're 4-0 up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Maybe he want to hold the game. You've got attacking players on there. You sit them back. You put the Winks. I mean, it was the most unfathomable decision I could say. All I could say is, no, I think Klopp has got dirt on Mourinho.
Yeah, no,
that is probably the worst 2 substitutions probably ever made in my lifetime. How about that?
I wouldn't be far wrong from that. But Steve, let me come to you now. What does this say about Gareth Bale when he's picking Lamela over Bale? Surely put Bale on.
Well, I mean, it's mind-boggling, isn't it? It is mind-boggling. I think Bale was brought on with about 10 minutes to go, if that, and he took about 3 minutes to get on the pitch. It was just unbelievable. I mean, Winks and Lamela. I mean, Lamela now he's not fast enough to even foul people like he used to. And Winks, my God, I mean, if we can get a loan move for him where he can go to Wycombe Wanderers, that's about the level. It's not. That is the level, unfortunately.
I told you this at the beginning of the season. I said we need to get things out.
But I would say the one player that was crying out for, and if you looked, there was heavy rain on that pitch. It was scooting away. It was running away from players. Was Mora, and they didn't bring him on. He's got the pace to do it. He nicks little balls. He was the one who's going to close down and has got some energy. And he didn't even get on the pitch, did he? I'd certainly have had him ahead of Lamela and ahead of Winks.
But I think Lamela, I told you, got some dirt on Mourinho. That's why he always gets.
We'll do a special on that then, shall we, Ray?
I want to come to Jam now because he hasn't said much. I think he's still in shock, aren't you, Jam? That's why.
No, I definitely want to say something about these.
Tell us about your thoughts on. Well, who scored the second goal? Was that?
Well, can I say something about those substitutions first?
Of course, you can say about
general
whatever
formation in general. So first half, we held in there. It was we weren't the better team, but we weren't awful. I'm not going to say we were awful. Players grew into the match, and it was stuff was happening. Kane's when he went down, I think definitely he was a focal point in the attack, and since he got his injury, our play slowed down a little bit. He went off, and then you have an opportunity to look on your bench, and you got Bale, you got Vinicius, you got Lucas Moura, and you go with Lamela. And that is just ridiculous. Like, why is Vinicius here? Why did he come if not to come on when Kane gets injured?
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't played great, but that's why he's here.
Vinicius could not have done any worse than Lamela did. Nobody.
I couldn't have done any worse than Lamela.
But Lamela's been injured. Like this is why his second match back after injury, and that as the manager, right? He's been injured. He's not up to pace. He hasn't played any matches in 3 or 4 months or something. Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. And even
talk me through the second goal. What's going on there with Lloris parrying it out straight into the opponent's path. Tell me about that, will you? This is a World Cup winner, supposedly an elite keeper, making ridiculous mistakes.
Who took the shot? Was it Mane who took the shot? The first initial shot. Like, why would he have so much space to get to get this shot off too? Like, I mean, it was a deep shot. It was a bad save, and then no one's following up on Alexander-Arnold, and it's frustrating. Defense is shambolic.
Steve, what do you think of the Lloris goalkeeping? Was he at fault for that?
Well, I mean, we always used to be able to rely on him as a shot stopper, if not very good at distribution or dominating his area. And now he doesn't seem to be able to do either. I think, to give him some credit, Trent Alexander-Arnold really did strike that ball nicely. It did go like a bullet. And Winks did his normal sort of dying swan impersonation of throwing himself at the wrong time in front of the shot, or what he thought was in front of the shot, before it flew into the net. So, but goalkeepers, you push it wide, don't you? You push it up, over, or out and wide. You don't push it into oncoming opposing players, and we were punished for it.
Well, let's talk about that one only good part of this match was the Hojbjerg scored his first goal for Tottenham. Cam, were you happy with that? Beautiful strike.
Oh, it's beautiful. Perfect execution. Yeah. Perfect strike. Great ball. And I think after the, I think it came. Did it come after the third goal was disallowed for Liverpool with the handball?
No. I think it was still 2-0, and we scored to make it 2-1.
2-0, yeah, that's right. No, I thought that Hojbjerg felt after because the second goal came 1 minute into the second half, and it seemed like we still had a bit of time to come back and wake up, so to speak. And I felt that Hojbjerg took the game by the scruff of the neck for the next 5 minutes, and his strike was just perfect. I mean, I don't think he'll ever hit a ball so sweetly or so perfectly since then. And again, I'll say it's probably one of the only really good touches that Bergwijn had, but to play that ball into his path. Because I do want to say, whilst Hojbjerg's goal was fantastic, you've got to at some stage criticize and analyze Bergwijn's play, because yes, he drops deep, yes, he huffs and puffs a lot, but in the final third, he gives us absolutely nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. He can't distribute it. He can't pass it For once, he put a great ball, and we got a goal. And I mean, you have to ask yourself this season, how many times have you seen that from him?
Steve?
Well, I mean, it was a lovely strike, wasn't it, from him? I'm not as critical as Bergwijn because I do quite like his work rate, but he's shot of confidence. There was at least one other occasion when he should have had a shot and he didn't, even though the angle wasn't perfect.
Yeah, you need to go.
You know, you hit it in those conditions. It's wet, the ball's slippery, all the rest of it. You give it a go. When I saw Hojbjerg coming onto it, I just thought, oh well, this is going nowhere. It's Rosette or it's something like that. And then he hit it like Kane would. so it was a great strike. And it gave us a good platform then to push on and to take the game by the scruff of the neck and push on. And we did none of that. It was, indeed, they just seemed to just go up one gear and come and score another goal.
We got lucky because of that offside. Not offside, the handball from Fabinho. Yeah. Because
Dyer was all over him, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was exactly. Could have been a foul. Cam, do you want to have your say about Hojbjerg's goal? Beautiful strike. Do you want to add something on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, everything's been said. It was a turning point in the match. Hojbjerg did take the game from that moment on, and you could see like things were changing in momentum. And really, you know, what killed it was the next goal because it was such an easy goal to give. Obviously, we got lucky with the. I wouldn't say lucky. I mean, I saw it in live action. I'm surprised it wasn't called when it happened. It was a clear handball. And I'm sorry, the commentator is saying that he didn't move his hand toward the ball. I mean, there was behind him. But it was the clearest handball they could give. I'm surprised that it went to the.
It was definitely handball. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It was definitely.
But you know that happens in football. I think the game was still there, and we did the most Tottenham thing possible and give them the three easy goals, and the third one's the easiest when we're in a position to get something from this match. You know, I feel like the momentum was coming back to us.
But was it really? I'm not sure.
Four goals. Sorry.
So yeah, I don't think the momentum was coming back to us. I think even after we went 2-1, we didn't show anything there, and you know we didn't become any more dangerous or anything like that. It was just a question of when Liverpool would score again. Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the point I was making, there were 4 goals in the game, 3 of them were avoidable. Unfortunately, they were all against us. Yep. That's just the way it is. We'll have to learn to live with it and move on. But it's a very bitter pill to swallow at the moment.
Well, when we made it 2-1, you'd have thought, you know, we would actually go for the jugular, but we didn't. We sat back, we played it. I thought they were playing like a training match. The way there's no intensity, no rush, nothing.
Well,
Cam?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 things there. I agree with you. Training match. I think you're giving them too much credit by calling it a training match, letting them off the hook. We played how we always play a second half, whether we're 1-0 up, 2-0 down, or we're 4-0 down. Right? We play like we're going to defending for our lives. Most of that game, if someone had come in and had blocked out the score and said one of these teams is winning by 2 goals, they would have thought it was us. Because we were playing like we were already winning. It's like we do have no other way of playing. All we know is when the second half comes, we headless chicken it for 45 minutes and hope the other team doesn't score. The only reason this game was 3-1 is because of Liverpool's finishing and Liverpool's ability to take their chances. This should have been Mourinho's humiliation. 7, 6, 8, you know, very well could have been. If they'd been clinical like they were last season, we would have been totally destroyed. And it's unbelievable that this team is coming off a loss against Burnley, a loss against Southampton this month, a beating by Man United, right, and come to Tottenham and put in. I think
it all stems back to what Cam said. You know, he said Tottenham is the team to play when you're out of form because we'll get you back in form, and at least we're consistent. We did it again, and that's going to happen next Thursday when we play Chelsea. We're going to lose because we're going to get Chelsea back in form. This is what happens. Jam, I want to come to you now. You know, Rodon, you know, what do you think? I mean, you know, he makes a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake. He's a young centre-half, but that's schoolboy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the worst timing possible. You know, it could have been the second goal if that had happened, and you know, it would have been a little different. But it really took the punch out of everyone, and there was nothing left after that. And you know, I don't want to be too harsh on him because, as you said, young defender, and he played really well apart from that. But it was schoolboy stuff. It was simple stuff.
I don't think, Steve, we're going to see Rodon for a while now because, as you say, Mourinho doesn't forget, does he?
I think that's a shame. But I think of if you think of Dyer as our other centre back, I think Rodon played better than he did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They both. I mean, for my sins, played at a very low level, and I played centre half. And these are very basic things you learn, one of which is you don't let the ball bounce in difficult situations. You get to the point of the bounce or before it and you clear the ball. And Rodon didn't do that, and neither did Dyer for both of those goals. It's just, you know, you as a defender, sometimes you have to rosette it, and they're not doing it. I think those are, and I hate we use this phrase, don't we, schoolboy errors. They were schoolboy errors. You wouldn't expect that from any other centre-half in the league, would you?
No, but what about Cam? Mourinho is meant to be this much vaunted defensive masterclass coach, can shut games out. What's going on? Is he lost his touch, or the players are not good enough?
Because let's look back at some of the shutouts that we've had. Very few. At the beginning of the season, we had a few, but we played like, you know, we defended like crazy lunatics, and we managed to hold a few at the beginning of the season. We all said on this channel that there's no way any team on the planet can hold that line for so long, a game after game after game after game. Today, what really hit me about the defense was not it wasn't just shambolic. There was zero organization. They had zero understanding of where any of the other players were. And it was just boot and hope. This was like watching Hackney Marshes with 5 guys in the mud, right? Struggling around, trying to wonder where the ball is, all looking around, half of them ball watching. I mean, literally ball watching. The other ones thinking, no, you go for it. No, I'll go for it. I mean, and Liverpool thought, I mean, are we playing a Premier League team? I mean, even Marine had a better defense against us than we had today against Liverpool. I've never seen anything like it. It was completely shambolic, zero organisation. It's like they've never trained together before. It's like 5 guys met at a pub and said, hey, you know, I've got a game today. Anyone free? How many pints have you had? Oh, well, you had 3. Okay, I'll put you centre half against Liverpool. Yeah. That's what it felt like.
No, that's what it looked like as well. And the truth is, these 5 have never played together before. It's the first time they played together in that formation, and that was too high risk in this match to play a new formation with new players. Big mistake by Jose. He's got to take it on the chin. So, you know, we lose 3-1. We're not even, you know, we're down. We're, you know, even West Ham are above us. I feel I should wash my mouth after saying that.
Yeah.
Disgusting, really. I don't know what's to happen. I mean, Steve, was this, I'll come to you in a minute, Jam, but Steve, was this just an aberration, a bad night at the office, and we're really better? And was this just symptomatic of the way we're playing?
It's not just a one-off, is it? We've seen it coming. We've got lucky. Other teams that get absolutely slaughtered by other teams in the league, we scrape a 1-0. You know, we have seen it coming. When you decide that you're going to have 25% or 30% possession, it means the other team is going to create many more chances than you are, and you lay yourself open to mistakes. It's questioning the whole Mourinho philosophy. And he's very stubborn. I don't think he wants to change anything. But having said all of that, I think the players take on some individual responsibility as well for their effort level and their energy. And sometimes you have to be a leader on the pitch, don't you? If you see that you're chasing a game, you do something about it.
I think
probably the most energetic player on that pitch was probably Milner, who's 35.
Yeah,
who was all over the place. I didn't see him misplace a pass. We can't do that.
I think it's become psychological with Tottenham now. When they play Liverpool, I think they're beaten before they even go on the pitch. I think it's getting to that stage now. It really is. But I'm not sure. Jam, I can't remember us letting in 3 goals at home. Is this the first time we've let in 3 goals at home?
I can't say.
No, but I mean, if it's not a bad defensive record, it's the first time we've let in 3 goals at home. Let's not go overboard.
I was going to say West Ham. Was that at home?
Yeah, that was at home. Okay, second time. But let's not go overboard, guys. We've lost 3-1 to the champions, European.
Well,
you know, we should have put up a better fight. I think that's what I'm upset. If we played really well and lost 3-2, I can take that. But to lose 3-1 without playing like that, Cam, it's just disgusting, isn't it?
No, but we're missing. I think we're missing the point here. We all knew we were going to lose looking at that formation.
Yeah, but we hoped we wouldn't lose.
Why did he put out that team? Why did he put the 2 bozos on at half time? Did he put a bet on Liverpool or something? Because
maybe let me put this to you, Cam. Is he trying to get Levy to get into his pocket saying, this is what I've got, this is what you're having. If you want to get in the top 4, you've got to spend some money. Is that potentially what he's doing?
I mean, it is unfathomable. I can be honest with you and say that if Steve had made those kind of things at work and I was his boss, I would fire him on the spot. because it is unfathomable that half-time changes were unfathomable. That 5 at the back and 2 in the midfield, the way that he played it. I mean, we knew against the Liverpool team, who've got very strong midfield, who have got 3 players that are going to be running at you, that we're going to be destroyed. We knew it before the game started, didn't we?
But Cam,
that's where we lost it. We lost it the moment he announced that team.
Hold on a second. We were only 1-0 down at half-time, Cam.
Because Liverpool didn't take their chance.
That's fair enough. But Jam, he changed it at half-time. But my problem with the thing is the people he brought on. He went back to 4-4-2 or whatever he was, but he brought in Lamela and Winks. I mean, that just shows either a really severe lack of judgment on his part or the fact that he doesn't really care anymore.
Sabotage.
So yeah, I agree.
Oh, sorry. Let's go to Steve and then I'll come to you, Jam.
I mean, what I sense is the players are fearful. They're playing. They're nervous. I think they think if they step out of line with this sort of Mourinho way, that they're going to be dropped. If you're a sort of yes man and you're going to do everything he says, go on there, twiddle about in midfield, don't you dare make a mistake. If Lloris is on, you pass it back to him, however far up the field you are. Don't you dare try and score a goal. If you sign up for that, you're going to be in. But if you try anything slightly differently, then you risk, his wrath, and it means you're completely cold-shouldered. Look at Dele Alli.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I take your point, and I tend to agree with you on that. I think he's managing by fear, and they're playing with fear. Yeah. But let's try and wrap it up now. Jam, give us your final thoughts on this and where we go from there, and then I'll come to the other two.
I thought that was a good point, Steve. That was very valid. Like they're scared to play, and there's no leaders around.
Yeah.
I think if you're Hojbjerg and Ndombele, Kane, you look around and see what's happening behind you. It's very disheartening. I think Son was unfortunate. Like it's sad that Son did not really touch the ball in the second half. I don't remember. He had to come into the midfield, and even then he was hardly getting a touch in. It was a disappointing day, and you go into these matches hoping for more, and then you see the team sheet and you think, okay, whatever, he's going to try something new. But I think the biggest mistakes were players like Doherty, who hasn't done anything this season for us or proved anything for us, and he's continued to not prove anything for us. And then you go into the second half, you've lost your best player, and then you bring on you make the weirdest substitutions in the world, and that's where he's starting to lose me. And,
I'll be interested to hear.
I could have. If he kept the same team out on the second half and we had gone on to lose without making stupid mistakes, it would have been fine. We would move on, and that would be like bad day at the office. We lost to the champions. That's good, but we didn't. We lost in such a poor way.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Cam, do you want to sum up for us your final thought?
I want to sum up for you. You said who would you bring on? We all know we would have bought Bale and Moura on. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I would say what we witnessed today is the beginning of the end of the Mourinho time with Tottenham. The love affair is more or less now going to start souring, because I believe that Tuchel at Chelsea will draw a match. He's going to start with. Yeah. We're going to be slaughtered there. West Brom is our bogey team. We don't do very well. I think going away to Brighton is not going to be easy, and we're going to be destroyed at Manchester City. So where do the points come from in the next 4 games? I don't know. If we play like we did today, we could beat none of those teams, personally, I believe. I think that West Brom is one of our most difficult games, because we always lose or draw to West Brom, especially at home. So my feeling is that we are looking at the beginning of the end, because you look at the players, you look at their movement and the way that they are, you look at the substitutions. Every time I've seen Mourinho lose the plot, you can tell by his substitutions. You can tell the people that he brought on at Manchester United that started at the end of his reign. His 2 reigns that ended at Chelsea started like that. He started leaving certain players out. He started bringing in really weird players. He started doing crazy things like he did. And after a while, you start losing. We lost 3-1 today. All we need is a 4-0 against Chelsea and a 5-0 against Manchester City, and we will be calling for his head. So I'm not going to wait for that, and I'm calling for his head now.
Yeah. If you look at Twitter and everywhere else, they're all slagging him off anyway. So I think we did it. Steve, I'm going to let you say something, then I'm going to finish off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we knew what we were getting, and Levy must have known what he was getting as well when he got Mourinho. You are going to get a lot of anti-football. We knew that was going to, and you can tolerate that when you're scraping wins. I don't think he would be given the push, because he's still in the Caramel Cup. He's still in the FA Cup and he's still in the Europa League. I think if those fall away, then his time is limited. But I think while we're still in those cups, he's going to be tolerated.
I don't think he's going to be fired because he's on 15 million a year. He's got a 3-year contract.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not going to throw 30 million away. So he's going to blame everything on Mourinho. I don't know. I think it's Mourinho's fault, I agree. But has he actually got the players? He's got Bale and Moura. Nobody knows if they would have done any better anyway. Bale came on, was anonymous. Lamella came on. Winks is useless. We know that. I don't think he's actually got the players to make a really good team. He couldn't do better with what he got, so I agree with everybody on that. He can do better with what he has. But I think we're sort of kidding ourselves if we think we're going to go to toe-to-toe with people like Liverpool and Man City and all that. We're just not at that level. So next game, sorry, go ahead.
Burnley went toe-to-toe with them, beat them for the first time they've lost the first game they've lost since 2017 at home against Burnley.
Yeah, so we're at that level. We're at Burnley's level, I think.
But it's always Spurs, though, is it? That are so scared of the top teams.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mindset thing.
You compare Burnley's performance to ours. Theirs was full of fire, determination. Come on.
Sheffield United away at Manchester United yesterday. They fought like anything. They put their thing on the line, everything on the line.
Yeah.
That win. Anyway, does anybody have any news on Harry Kane? Is he out for the season now or what?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet. Just one of his glass ankles has gone.
I'm just about to say glass ankles Kane. So, that's it. All right, guys, listen. Thanks to everybody for listening to the podcast and watching the YouTube video. Really appreciate it. Very dejected Spurs fans here. Cam is calling for the head of Mourinho. I think there's going to be a few others doing that. Steve hasn't actually gone that far. Jam, I think after the next couple of performances, we'll be calling for the head of Mourinho.
There soon.
I don't really care what happens as long as we win. I don't care. Donald Duck is in charge as long as we win. But it's a very, very sad day, depressing day. It is what it is. Now, I think Liverpool are going to go on a really good run now, and it can be all thanks to Tottenham. And nevertheless, we're fans. Come on, you Spurs. And
come on, you Spurs.
Podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.